All right, so welcome back, and today we are continuing our discussion with relational operators. All right, so if you remember in the beginning when we spoke of data types, we mentioned the fact that there is a particular data type known as Boolean. All right, and Boolean basically tell you whether a particular statement is true or false. They have just two values. All right, true or false, and the true will be equated to 1 and false will be equated to 0. So for example, if I'm here and I type true in MATLAB, that should give me logical 1 the way you see. All right, and this is 2018 B version. All right, if you have a previous version it should just give you 1, but it's the same thing. All right, you can see the value right here, 1. Okay, now if I type false, that should give me logical 0. So you should understand that if a statement is true, then the value will be 1. If the statement is false, then the value will be 0. Now, relational operators, as the name may suggest, right, gives us the possibility of relating variables with each other, all right, or data types with each other, if you would like. So, for example, I can try to see the relationship between 3 and 2, all right. Is 3 greater than 2? Is it equal to 2? Is it different from 2? Is it less than 2? All right, all of that is possible, and all of that will yield a particular result that will actually tell me whether uh, the statement I've made is true or false. All right, and since MATLAB is made for engineers and scientists, obviously all of these have a mathematical representation, which you should certainly know by now. So let's take those two numbers, 3 and 2, and then begin to go through those operators that MATLAB gives us. The very first one we want to see is the equality. All right, is 3 equal to 2? All right, this is the way you write it in MATLAB. Okay, so remember, this equality is double equality. Not remember, take note. Remember, it's not as if we've seen it before, right? So take note, this equality is double equality. It's not a single equality. In MATLAB, single equality, if I say 3 equal to, this supposes that I want to assign the value of 2 to 3, which is not the case. All right, what I want to do here is compare 2 and 3. Is 3 equal to 2? And obviously that should give me a logical 0. Okay, that stands for false, because 3 is not equal to 2. But if I ask if 2 equal 2, then that should give me a logical value of 1. All right, because this statement right here is true. So that's the first thing we're seeing. The next will be the greater than sign. Is 3 greater than 2? Okay, and this is the way you write it. All right, and that is true, right? 3 is actually greater than 2. Now the next we'll see is 3 less than 2. Obviously I'm sure you have guessed, and this is the way you write it. Okay, so it doesn't matter, right? You can put some spaces before that to make your code cleaner, as we will see later. All right, is the same thing. MATLAB will still recognize what you're trying to say, but 3 is not less than 2, right? So the logical answer here will be 0, to say the statement is false. All right, so remember this, don't get confused at some point. Remember this as we are going through the course, that relational operators yield Boolean values. All right, our goal for using relational operators is checking whether a particular statement is true or false, and the outcome of these relational operators is always a 0 or a 1 that will tell us whether that statement is true or false. This is important for the upcoming part of our course when we come to branching statements, when we want to do some things depending on whether a particular statement is true or is false. All right, so remember that. So to continue, we've seen how to check equality. We've seen how to check that a number is less than another. We've seen how to check how a number is greater than another. Now we want to see how to check whether a number is greater than or equal to another. All right, so if I put 3 here, what do you think will be the answer? Is 3 greater than or equal to 3? Of course. All right, that equality part of it is included. All right, but 3 being greater than or equal to 2, that's obviously false. greater than what on my side? What? That's true, right? But if I say 4, for example, yeah, that's false, all right? And as you may have guessed, the same goes for less than. Okay, you can check whether a number is less than or equal to another, and this should give us true, all right? The last thing we want to check here is we want to know if a number is different from another. All right, that's the opposite of being equal to another. All right, so we've checked whether a number is equal to another. Now, to check if a number is different from another, you simply use, okay, the tilde symbol, this one right here. This means is 3 different from 2? Okay, so if I press enter, obviously 3 is different from 2, but let's check whether two numbers are that. 2 is 2 different from 2? 0, right? Because 2 is equal to 2. All right, so for this video, we focused on scalars, and then the next video will just take a step up, all right, and then try to look at it from an array perspective and from array scalar perspective. All right, so see you in the next video. Bye.